Unit 4, test number 12. So we have our problem here, and our very first step is to factor. I've shown how to factor this right here, x minus 5, x plus 1 over x minus 3. Our step 2 is finding our x-intercepts, and we do that by setting our numerator equal to 0. So you got x minus 5, and you add 5 to both sides, which gives us x equals 5. And then x plus 1 equals 0, minus 1 from each side. That gives us x minus 1. Our third step is to find the y-intercept by replacing x with a 0. So everywhere you see an x, you put a 0. And that ends up giving us 5/3. Our step 4 is to find the vertical asymptote by setting our denominator to equal to 0. So we set x minus 3 to 0, and then we add 3 to both sides, giving us x minus 3, or x equals 3. Our vertical asymptote is equal to our domain. I'll show that later. Step 5 is to find the horizontal asymptote by looking at the degrees of the numerator and the denominator. We have x to the second degree on top, and x to the first degree on the bottom, so the numerator is greater. So it's going to be slant or oblique. So we have to use long division to solve this, and so I've shown the division right here. You don't have to worry about the remainder, we're just focusing on the answer, x minus 1. So we've got a horizontal asymptote, y equals x minus 1. Your domain and vertical asymptotes, like I said, are the same. I've shown that here, so 3 cannot be a solution. Range is all real numbers, of course. And over here. And then we have, we're going to use our sign line to show the answer to f of x is greater than 0 and f of x less than 0. You're going to start your sign line by marking vertical asymptote and also marking your roots, your x-intercepts, which are going to be 5 and a negative 1. So I've shown that here. Then you're just going to pick some test points. It looks kind of messy, but you're going to want to pick one on the left side, less than negative 1. I've done that here, and I've come up with a negative. Doesn't really number what it get, doesn't matter. So that gives us a negative, and then between negative 1 and 3, you can see that the answer becomes positive. It's going to be positive. And then in the middle, there's a vertical asymptote at 3. Test point between 3 and 5 comes up negative. And then you're going to pick a number greater than 5. And then it ends up being a positive. So now, here at the bottom, we are ready to graph. We're going to mark my x-intercept here, where the dots are, 5 and negative 1. Here's my y-intercept here, which shows 5/3 or 1.66. And then my asymptotes, my vertical one, going up and down here, 3. And then my horizontal one is going to be the slant right along here on the diagonal, but goes across the y-axis at negative 1. And then I've just followed my sign line here to show me when it becomes positive and when it goes negative on both sides. Hope that helps and makes sense.